Happy Father's Day, everyone. Whether you have one in your life or whether you don't have one in your life, well, guess what? We all have a dad. And today I figured what would be a good idea for a video. That's right, listing the worst fathers in anime. These guys are the worst of the worst. These guys are fathers that I do not wish upon my worst of enemies. And we're going to be listing why they suck. Starting off with Dario Brando. This man is the father of one of anime's biggest haters, Dio Brando. And it's no surprise why he turned out this way, because his father is also just as bad as him. This man was an alcoholic, a thief, an abuser, not only again to Dio, but to his wife, who he basically worked to death. And now, ever since her passing, he had proceeded to do even worse to Dio. And again, it's not really surprising why Dio turned out the way he was. His father is just purely messed up. His father is just one of the most down dirty human beings on earth. And there's no wonder why Dio was so happy and excited that his father had passed. I mean, normally, if that was the case, I'd be a little confused. But again, after hearing and knowing the things that his father has done to him, I'm not shocked. And honestly, I'm actually happy that he is. It's only a shame that his son turned out to be the same as him. Well, in some aspects, not the whole gambling thing, but in the sense that he too is also really, really messed up. Shao Tucker. The words that I can use to describe this man is probably not safe for YouTube. He is what I would like to call just straight up mentally disturbed. The choices that he has made in the show are just I wouldn't bring kids around this man, basically, and here's why. To begin with, he stated once we first meet him in chapter 5 in the manga, whatever, that basically his wife had left him. Where, in actuality, she didn't leave him. He did some experiments to her. Some experiments that he also ended up doing to his daughter. Yes, he merged his daughter with the family pet. Which, just disturbing to say. And then after that, you would think, oh, maybe he feels some form of regret. Maybe he regrets the decisions that he has made. No, when confronted, he regrets nothing. In fact, he becomes more insane, more cynical after he gets confronted by this. He fully accepts and is happy with a decision, stating that he can now keep his certification. Like, really? You just turned your daughter into an abomination. All you have to say is, oh, thank God I can keep my certification. The reason why she is like this is because her father just had no empathy and had no care for anyone but himself and his experiments, which leads this man to be one of the worst fathers in anime, probably in history. Before I get to the last character, who I think is probably one of the worst fathers in anime, let me list out a couple of honorable mentions. Gawa's dad, Waza. Straight up sealed a tail beast inside of him, and then after that tried to send assassins to kill him. So yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty messed up. Next is Ash Ketchum's father. We never see, hear, or know about him at all. And yet the fact that he ain't around is already bad enough. Look, if I was his dad, I would never let this kid, my son, my 10-year-old son, go out into the world with no supervision. And no, I'm not counting Brock. That man is a degenerate. I would not leave my son around a degenerate like Brock. He's just messed up. It's just messed up what he's doing. And what he isn't doing is being a father. Which leads me into the next guy, who's another honorable mention. Ging. Yes, the father of Gong from Hunter x Hunter, is pretty messed up of a dad. He basically is a hunter and went out to the world and, adventure and try to harness his craft. And just from that, abandoned his son. He does not care about his son. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. We don't know, because he's too busy doing everything else that's not involving being a dad, which is pretty messed up. Now, time for the final fodder, and in my opinion, the worst fodder, or one of the worst fodders in all of anime and manga, Gambino. While yes, technically he is not Guts' dad, Guts looked up to him and looked to him as if he was his dad, because he had no other father figure to look up to. Now, Gambino did not treat him the same. In fact, he treated him like a cursive child who should have died underneath his mother's corpse. I will say though, bonus to him, he did train him how to fight. So I guess that's cool. Did give him a cool scar as well, so I guess that's also pretty cool. But other than that, he's pretty much have a weird disdain for him. He would blame him for everything. Anything and everything bad that happened to the group, he would blame it on Guts. For example, the disease that killed Shishu. Yeah, Gambo blamed it on Guts, even though it had nothing to do with Guts. And you think that's the worst thing about Gambino? Well, you're wrong. Other than the idea that he really pretty much never cared for Guts, he also sold Guts. You see, when Guts was young, a man by the name of Donovan, yes, a man named Donovan had assaulted Guts, and it's pretty disturbing. Now you may be wondering, okay, what does that have to do with Gambino? Well, he allowed it to happen. In fact, he only allowed it to happen for 3 silver coins. So the value of this kid who looked up to this man as a father, his value was only 3 silver coins. This man is messed up. And not only that, this man even tried to kill Guts. Yes, he hated him so much that he even tried to kill the kid. He's just a kid, and he just didn't want anything to do with him. He wanted him to die, which is just messed up. Which then becomes ironic when it comes to the point where Guts is forced to have to kill Gambino, which you would think, oh, Guts would be very happy to do so, but think about it. Guts still, throughout all of the abuse and suffering caused by this man, still looked up to him as a father, still loved him and cared for him. So imagine the trauma that had to have gone through this kid when he was told he had to kill him. It's just straight up sad, and which is why I think Gambino is the worst father in all of anime and manga. Well, what did we learn from this video? Well, I learned, no matter how bad your parents may be, more specifically your father may be, just know that maybe they're not as bad as these guys. And if they are, you should probably call the cops. Now, before I go, make sure to comment what you thought or what you think, in your opinion, is the worst father in anime and why it is not Goku. I'm sick of tired of people saying that. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.